Hey, it's me, Remy, the comic book poser, and I'm here today to welcome you to Enter the Poserverse. I still feel like crap, I still don't have any energy, but I still gotta talk about what books I think you should read along with me on this week's new comic book day, March 3rd, 2021. And to find out what books make the list, you'll have to wait and see after this.
Hey, little girl, did you want to know a secret?
I got 5 on it. 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Alright, this is a lighter week for me in terms of looking at the number of books that are coming out. I know a lot of folks last week saw the indie heavy week with not a lot of DC and Marvel, and they were like, it's a light week. It's the other way around for me for one reason or the other, so let's talk books. First up from Marvel is The Avengers number 43. I'm really excited for this book. That, you know, the Age of Khonshu arc, which I went back and read after the fact, was really, really interesting in terms of seeing what's going down with Moon Knight. This one, as we're starting to see people either want to fight to be the Phoenix or people team up against the Phoenix Force, I think it's just a really, really interesting story arc, and I'm still kicking myself for missing it from the beginning. Next, we get some DC books that aren't affiliated with Future State once again. The Batman is back. Batman 106, we get the start of a new arc. I'm still kind of frustrated that, the Ghostmaker and Batman just kind of Thelma and Louised into the sunset. But I'm intrigued in seeing how this new arc starts, and if Tynion has been able to kind of kick the inability of DC to let him write the end of an arc in the same way that we know he can absolutely crush it on the indie titles that he does. Berserker's coming out, Matt Kent and Keanu Reeves. I'm expecting this book to just be ridiculous. My bar is probably relatively low, especially knowing that there are people who are buying 2,000 copies so they can get that very, very, very limited. It's either a 1 in 1,000 or 1 in 2,000 variant. So we'll see. I like Matt Kent, so maybe it'll make Keanu Reeves seem less weird. I don't know. We got back-to-back AWA books. Casual Fling number 2 comes out this week. The first one was pretty interesting in terms of looking at the creepy lover who was coming out of nowhere to keep stalking her after a never-ending one-night stand. The other one is Chariot number 1. I like the idea that it's a soldier with a supercharged muscle car. It gets unearthed, and, I'm wondering if we get some Knight Rider vibes for this. But I'm a big AWA stan, so we'll see. Next from Vault is Engine Ward number 8. Shit went down in the last book. We saw the War of Celestials kind of go to a new level. Now there is a breakdown in terms of the alliances between the gods. So I'm excited to see how this kind of continues to go now that this is the highest level of intensity we've seen this far. Next up from Image Skybound is Firepower number 9. Number 8 was okay to me. This is maybe the last issue of Firepower I'm going to read, unless this one just blows me away. That I really liked the prequel trade, I really liked the first issue or 2 of the series, but it's just been off and on in terms of my like for this series. Next up from Vault is Giga number 3. It feels like a hot minute since we've had a Giga issue come out. So I'm excited to see what they are doing in terms of investigating some of the previous remnants of a Giga to see if they were really being exploited by some people and if some bad things were going down. Next up, and it might be one of the books that I'm actually the most excited about for this week, it's Hellions number 10. I really like Arcade as a villain. I think the potential that can be used when writing his gamesmanship, the technological constructs he uses, all that stuff, can be very limitless to a writer. And to see that he was kind of teased at the end of number 9 made me very excited, especially knowing that they're going to a place called Murder World. I liked how he was kind of played with a little bit in setting up the Black Widow storyline, so I'd like that one of my favorite villains is being used a lot more. Next is the King in Black Handbook #1. I know some people will take a pass on these, but for a big event like this, especially since I've been reading all but one of the tie-ins, I think I've missed 2 now. I think I missed the Savage Avengers book. But I like these handbooks because it lets me make sure that I clued into the right things. It helps me keep all of the characters in order. I think they're useful tools for readers. Like, we got series of tie-ins. We got Captain America #1, King in Black, Gwenin vs. Carnage, which has been just an amazing read. Thunderbolts #3 is out, and I really liked issue #2. And then we've got Wiccan and Hulkling #1. I don't know anything about that one, but I'm going to read it because I think everything has been good. Next up from DC is Man-Bat #2. Like I said when I pulled Man-Bat #1, I didn't know why I did it. And then after the fact, I was like, this is just really, really interesting that we get to see what Kirk Langstrom can do as Man-Bat. Can he contain his powers? Is he going to be a threat? So on and so forth. Next up from Image is Noctera #1. This is another book that I'm really excited about, and if you didn't see last night's interview that the Comic Burrito Boys did with Scott Snyder, it was very, very interesting in terms of his story construction, what he kind of used from his life to build the premise of this, the conversation he had with his kids. You should just click the link at the top to go watch that interview because it was really, really good. You know, cheers to the Burrito Boys for crushing it on that one. I also think that I'm picking up 3 or 4 different covers of that one if I got the order in on time. Next up from Vault, we've got Resonant #8. The ship is on its way back after tumultuous weather. We know that the family of Sand's father have kind of reunited at the cabin to then find a new place in the forest to kind of bear down and get ready to survive. So I think this is going to be the most tumultuous issue yet. Next up from DC is Swamp Thing #1. I've never been a huge Swamp Thing reader, but the hype around Ram V and this character is real. It's big, so I'm definitely gonna check it out in terms of the creation of a new character in terms of becoming Swamp Thing. I've also on again, off again read Justice League Dark, which I'm just impressed with Ram V's writing. 2 more books from IDW's Transformers Back to the Future #3. Yes, please. I've enjoyed these. They've been a fun, whimsical, nostalgic read. And then, sadly, we will have to pour one out for the end of one of my favorite ongoing horror books in Unearthed #10 from Image, that I think Kyle Strahm, Cullen Bunn, and Baltimore Rivas have done an awesome job kind of creating the horror that lurks below, creating the ridiculously creepy cult, and just kind of building a world that I'm sad to see is gone. Last thing that I want to do is shout out the 2 Scout books that are coming out this week. Right, they're going to be in my Scout box when it gets here in a couple of days. The final of Electric Black Presents is out, #3. You should pick this up. You should go pick up all of the Electric Black books and then the first 2 Electric Black Presents from Scout Comics. This has just been a phenomenal run in horror. And then I don't know what Tart Soul Searchers is. Not gonna lie, I haven't checked it out, but that's my bad. I was also really excited to be able to talk about Nottingham this week, but in terms of looking at the pull list, I think Nottingham got pushed back a week in its release for Mad Cave Studios, so maybe it shows up and I'll be excited to read that puppy in my hands. If not, I'll wait to sing its praises another week. But is there anything else on the list that I've missed? If so, let me know in the comments down below, or, you know, I'll be out of my mind on cold medicine but ready to chat up with y'all. So let me know in the chat over here. Yeah, that's all I got. I'm gonna take a bunch of medicine and hopefully feel better. And as always, thanks for stopping by. Have a good one.
Hey, little girl, did you want to know a secret?
I got 5 on it. 5, 1, 2, 3, 4.